DElEd students, and this DElEd program for you only, CC05, the computer application in education. Now, normally what happens is that this program is basically for anyone who is interested in the computer application field and want to do something in computers. So, computer application in education, how you are implying the things. So, this is the particular DElEd curriculum that West Bengal board is giving. Okay, and following the NCT regulations 2014, and I just prepared for them only. Okay, and we start with the basic concept in computer. So this basic concept in computer is for everyone, anyone in the world who is knowing that one has to understand computers, the concept of computers, will naturally come and be in my tutorial, in fact, to understand. And see, I will, there is a key points, that is the introduction is there, objectives of the unit is there, some common functions or the operations of computer is there, the various features of the computer system, which is very important, the computer configuration. So this deals with the unit 1, and if we see carefully, the computer is there in front. So first of all, what is a computer? So anyone, even small boys and girls, can also know or gain something from this particular tutorial that I have produced. What is a computer? Yes, a computer is an electronic device. So electronic device means something on any device that runs on electricity, that receives input. So input must be there, stores or processes the input. It will store the data and process the data as per the user's instructions. So whatever the instruction is given, and provides output in desired format. Computers have become an integral part of our lives. Why? Because they can accomplish each task, yes, each task. And then what happens? And you will find that repeatedly, without getting bored, and so they will not get bored. Repeatedly some task has been done by human beings. If you are doing the same task over and over again, you will get bored, but the computer will not get bored. And complex ones also, repeatedly, without committing any errors. So errors, you will be like, there will be no errors if you are giving the right input and the process is done. So then you will get the perfect output. So this is the main criteria of computer. Yes, and three things are there: IPO, that is the input, process, and output. So these are main things, and then we come to the basics. Now coming to the objectives of the basic concept in computer. So explain characteristics of computer. So what are the characteristics of a computer? The identify the basic component of a computer, explain the importance of the various units of a computer, the how to differentiate between the system software and the application software. So what are the system softwares, what are the application softwares, and they explain the importance of the operating system. So I start with the thing, but we have to get acquainted with the open source also, and they appreciate the need of the computer security. So there must be a computer security also. So now some common functions and operations of the computer, as we know, is that there are basically four basic functions or operations of computers. So input, I already told, the input is very important thing, and the process has to be done, and the output has to become. But at times we require to store the data, so the storage is required. Yes, so input, the processing, output, and if you don't store data, then you cannot retrieve the data after a long time. Retrieve means to fetch or bring from the particular stored data. So suppose you are making one file and you are storing that, saving that file, that has to be stored in the hard disk to get it back the next day and continue with the work. Okay. Now we come to the input. So input means something to give. So receiving or accepting information from outside source. The most common way of performing this function is through the information entered through the keyboard. Yes, we already know the keyboard is an input device, and click by clicking on the mouse or the click of mouse. Of course, there are many other type of devices for receiving such information. Example, the webcam. You can see my face if I am in the webcam. So input has been done, and the computers are also able to receive information stored in other devices like the DVD. We can run it from the DVD disks and pen drives. So computers are also able to receive information from other computers and similar devices. Now we come to the processing. This is really the core of computer operation. The computer processes the data that is fed to the computer by various means, and the data already contained in internal memory to produce the result. So I told you can store the data, you can store it in the internal memory, you can store it in the secondary memory. So internal memory, that is the memory inside, okay, and you have the primary memory and the secondary memory. The primary is the RAM ROM, and the secondary memory you have the hard disk and the pen drive and other things. So what happens ultimately is that the results, that is the core of all computer application. The produce a result. So output is the main thing. So that comes the output. So the results of processing are made available for use by any user or other devices. The most common ways of producing such outputs are through computer monitor, speakers, and printers. When a computer is connected to other devices, including through internet, this output is in the form of electrical pulses. So it goes in the I told computer runs on electricity, so electrical pulses goes on. The output data can also be recorded onto an external recording medium such as the DVD. So you can record that also. So coming to the storage, the store information in the computer. So this is required to store the information. The memory is stored in the computer in several different ways. So in several different ways you can find, that is depending upon how the information is used. For simplicity, we will classify in two broad categories. The first is the memory, is in the central processing, the memory in the central processing unit of the computer, and the second is the auxiliary memory. The auxiliary memory includes the devices such as fixed hard disk. The information stored in the computer can also be divided broadly in two categories: the user data and the instructions used for internal operation and processing in the computer. These instructions are what we call computer programs or software. Now coming to the various features of the computer system, that is the speed, accuracy, diligence, reliability, versatility, storage capacity, automatic, quick decision, multitasking, no feeling, power of remembrance. So these are all the features. We can elaborate the features anytime, okay, but now at present you just know the features of the computer system. No IQ is there, I told. Whatever you give, it will work on that based on that, and then we come the configuration of the computer. So in communications or computer system, a configuration is an arrangement of functional units according to their nature, number, and chief characteristics. Often configuration pertains to the choice of hardware, software, firmware, and documentation. The configuration affects the system function and performance. Now how to check the computer configuration? Click on the start button and then enter the system into the search field. Select the system information from under the programs. Then click the summary, that is the system summary, to see the details about the operating system installed to the computer. The processor, basic input output system, and RAM. So you will find that. So double click the components, select a hardware device from the list to see the name, manufacturer, drive location, and other details. So this is all about. Thank you then. So, and hope this is clear to you, and thank you, and I will be doing more of this type of work later.